succeed in life, you need three things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. Consideration for others is the basis of a good life, a good society. The more powerful the class, the more it claims not to exist. There's no such thing in anyone's life as an unimportant day. If a man could have half of his wishes, he would double his troubles. Genius is measured not by static volume, but by kinetic vision. I admire those who do good and expect nothing in return. There is nothing frightening in the dark if you just face it. I can't feel my tongue, but I know it's there because I'm talking. The truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. The expert in anything was once a beginner. An education is not so much about making a living as making a person. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of others. In my heart's most secret place, I pity them as angels do. True words are not fancy. Fancy words are not true. The good do not debate. Debaters are not good. We are all insects, groping towards something terrible or divine. It is better to be divided by truth than united in error. The job of feet is walking, but the hobby is dancing. Follow your heart. Listen to your inner voice. Stop caring about what others think. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. The easiest way to be reborn is to live and feel life every day. It takes more effort to avoid the truth than it does to face it. You have to notice the truth in order to be able to avoid it. Stop trying to create a new you around the same old people. Your life has a limit, but knowledge has none. If you use what is limited to pursue what has no limit, you will be in danger. The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. Focus on the step in front of you, not the whole staircase. The heart's memory eliminates the bad and magnifies the good. Pessimistic tidak, lebih daripada sikap takbur mendahului nasib. I'm not pretty. I'm not beautiful. I am as radiant as the sun. Heaven is like an egg, and the earth is like the yolk of the egg. Everything takes time. Bees have to move very fast to stay still. First learn to become invincible, then wait for your enemy's moment of vulnerability. The company you choose to keep says a lot about who you are. Set the troops to their tasks without imparting your designs. Politeness is the first thing people lose once they get the power. It was easier to ask for forgiveness than it was to get permission. Those who win never give up. Those who give up never win. It's exhausting, the energy it takes to unknow a truth. It is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. Maybe everyone is just waiting for someone else to save them. When people try to bury you, remind yourself you are a seed. At some point, we all look up and realize we are lost in a maze. Everything is relative in this world, where change alone endures. A man should look for what is and not for what he thinks should be. Gratitude creates hope, and hope activates the law of attraction. If truth is not acceptable, it becomes the imagination of others. Nothing can be more hurtful to your heart than betraying yourself. Moods can be contagious. Don't catch or spread a bad mood. Your sacred space is where you can find yourself over and over again. A traitor's just a patriot on the wrong side of winning. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling the truth. I know it isn't fashionable. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You can't be brave if you've only had wonderful things happen to you. Verily, God does not reward man for what he does, but for what he is. If you can't enjoy what you have, you can't enjoy more of it. If you wish to be out front, then act as if you are behind. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Remember that the happiest people are not those getting more, but those giving more. The distance between insanity and genius is measured only by success. Dining with the king, your attire, attitude, and mentality must change. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. No one from the outside can tell or show you what is in your heart. The fruit of empty hopes is more bitter than the saddest truth. Everyone who got to where they are had to begin where they were. It was the truth, and like any truth, it was powerful. Deeds will not be less valiant because they are unpraised. Birth is not the beginning. Death is not the end. We can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. The most important decision you make is to be in a good mood. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Too many doubts grow in the cracks of silence and separation. When I stopped to take a breath, I noticed I had wings. Amid the turmoil and tumult of battle, there may be seeming disorder, and yet no real disorder at all. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where intention goes, energy flows. Tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. Verily, knowledge is a lock, and its key is the question. Knowledge is responsibility, which is why people resist knowledge. The tragedy of life is what dies inside a man while he lives. Beware of the small things. A small leak can sink a great ship. Having nothing to struggle against, they have nothing to struggle for. The greatest step towards a life of simplicity is to learn to let go. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. You cannot open a book without learning something. Some men never die, and some men never live, but we're all alive tonight. What is to be, will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest the decree. Fear can only grow in darkness. Once you face fear with light, you win. He who requires much from himself and little from others will keep himself from being the object of resentment. Anything not worth doing is worth not doing well. Think about it. A life fueled by passions is like riding on the back of a dragon. Even if you are on the right track, but just sit there, you will still get run over. Between living and dreaming, there is a third thing. Guess it. The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. Be wiser than other people if you can, but do not tell them so. Silence and non-action are the root of all things. The older I grow, the more I distrust the familiar doctrine that age brings wisdom. People rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing.